Each parent has their own way of raising children. Some ways are more conventional than others. It can range anywhere from the classic standing in the corner punishments to giving them an iPad and leaving them alone. Either way, in the realm of parenting, there are many ways and labels to categorize all the different types of childcare. And yet, I can't really find a word to describe what I grew up with. Ever since I learned how to read, and maybe even before that, my mother has been shoving history books in my face. Well, maybe not physically, but for a good chunk of my life, those were the only books available in the house. Now, whether it's truly useful for an 8-year-old to know about the ins and outs of the French Revolution is up for personal opinion, but the impact it had on me is undeniable. Now, in what is my nearly adult life, I am fairly knowledgeable in world history and sometimes seek out facts myself. I'm definitely far from the college historian that my mother is, but nevertheless, I get around. So now, just a quick question out of interest. Please raise your hand if you know exactly when World War I began, like date, month, year. Okay, great. Thank you to everyone who did not raise their hands, because now I know that I won't be the only one killed by my mother after this, because, well, I don't know either. No, I'm serious. For someone standing up here today trying to encourage you to learn history, I'm surprisingly not that good at it. I don't know the exact dates, I don't know the exact names, and I don't know the exact places. But what I do know is the main idea. I may not know when World War I began, but I do know that it collapsed empires, such as Austria-Hungary, which led to the creation of Czechoslovakia, which then became the Czech Republic, where I am speaking to you right now. From this knowledge alone, I can understand this country a bit better for its Austrian influences, such as its Viennese-style buildings and food. Now, will this knowledge help me, I don't know, do my taxes and schedule doctor's appointments in the future? Probably not, but it does help me see why certain things happened, why certain things exist. And that's what I came to convince you of today, that history matters and that it's actually useful, which, believe me, I understand is a hard point to prove sometimes, considering the fact that some of you associated with an endless list of dates, names, and places. Don't get me wrong, those are very important and impressive things to know and remember, but not everyone wants or has the capacity to do so, including me. But it's not just about the past. It's also about how we see the present. Knowing history helps you understand why things are the way they are, like how wars, laws, or social movements changed whole countries and cultures. And most importantly, you understand how it connects to you and how the way you live your life today was shaped by things that happened in the past. However, I also know that the argument of understanding the world around you may seem a bit abstract, maybe even overused. So as a last resort, I'd like to share some of my own history with you. Something that happened at an exact date or name or place that I do not know, but has nevertheless shaped my view of the world, and will maybe shape yours too. This on the left is my great-grandfather, Lev Bondarenko, my mother's grandfather, with his parents. In this image, he is no more than 4 years old. A few months after it was taken, his father was executed by firing squad and his mother sent to a work camp for 10 years. Now, we are very fortunate that in the country we're in and those around us, such punishments would only follow the most extreme of crimes. But this was the Soviet Union under Stalin, the leader of the USSR for 3 decades during a time marked by intense political oppression, and punishment often came without reason. I know that I said history is beyond just numbers, but let me share just one number with you. That number is 1 million. 6 zeros. Can you even imagine that many things, like, I don't know, 1 million balls, houses, cars, people? It's funny because we hear this number all the time, but we rarely stop to think about what it really means. 1 million is roughly the population of Prague. Imagine walking through Old Town or Wenceslas Square trying to count all the faces passing by. You could spend your whole life doing it and would probably not come even close. So 1 million people with their own lives, hopes, and fears. And some say that up to 1,200,000 people were executed under Stalin for political charges, most of them never having committed any crime at all, only a slight suspicion of treason. And in these terrifying times, my great-grandfather survived. He lived on. His mother was pardoned after 5 years for good behavior and released, but he did not recognize her when she came back, and only years after his death was his father officially announced not guilty. Lev grew up and was officially viewed as a victim of Stalinist oppression. It came with some state benefits, reduced rent, subsidies, official recognition, but those things didn't really undo the past. Most importantly, the organization that helped him and millions of others who went through the same oppression held meetings, museum exhibitions, and memorials. They made sure that generations well after theirs knew about this and that it would never happen again. So imagine my surprise with this knowledge, this history in my mind, when I recently learned that these museum exhibitions and memorials were being shut down, that these facts stopped being taught in schools in the very country that most of this happened in Russia. Meanwhile, statues of Stalin started popping up around the country, competitions on children's drawings of him were being held, and places called Stalin centers began opening, holding musicals about him, among other things. This sickened me, but especially the drawing I saw made by a child submitted to one of these competitions, a child which may very well have been the same age as my great-grandfather when his parents were taken away from him. Remember how I said that history changes your perception of things, the way you view the world. This can go both ways, and very quickly, it can get dangerous. You may have heard the quote, "History repeats itself," but I would like to offer you a quote which I think is a bit better. "History does not repeat itself, but it does rhyme." I would say that history is your friend, and that you should know it solely on the basis of that, and it can indeed be that way, but it also has a way of turning on you when ignored. But in general, it's a pretty cool thing, history. You can, impress a girl by sharing random facts about a building or stop a tragedy before it can fully take shape. How you use it is your choice, but please know it. Share it with your children, like my mother did. Show it to those who may not have had the chance to learn it. Because there are places in the world where that chance is disappearing. Memorial, the organization that helped my great-grandfather, was officially shut down by the Russian government a few years ago. Its members still work underground to preserve the truth of what happened during Stalin's time and beyond, but that truth is no longer welcome in school books or museums. That truth is being erased. So yes, history is sometimes boring, sometimes heavy, sometimes unappealing. But true history is a privilege, and one we must protect, not just study.